All right, so just like yesterday, you're going to check your homework answers. I gave you a grade back on your work from yesterday, and as long as you change any wrong answers to the right one, you will keep your grade that you got. So most of you got hundreds. As long as you change any wrong answers, you will keep that 100. So here's the first slide. We had some definitions we've been talking about with minerals. Take a second and make sure you have them in the right spot. The one that people mess up the most or switch the most is cleavage and fracture. Cleavage is when a mineral breaks along certain lines of weakness, and fracture is the way a mineral breaks. So for fracture, think about like if you fracture your arm or break your arm, when they put you in the case, they say you fractured it, right? You fractured your arm. Same thing with the mineral. The way the mineral breaks is its fracture. For this second slide, same kind of deal. I'm just going to put these answers up here. I'm not going to go over how you should have got them. You would have went to this link. The answers were on there, or you could have used the table. The only thing I'll say is that for feldspar, if you put one of these, that's fine. And then also for the second question with luster, for fluorite, if you didn't say translucent, if you said non-metallic, also totally fine. All right, slides 4 and 5 are what I want to go over. So slides 4 and 5, you had to use our new properties of common minerals table that we went over yesterday in class. For question number 1, I wanted to know which mineral leaves a green-black powder when rubbed against a porcelain plate. And I gave you 4 answer choices. You should have known that the powder was the streak. And if you didn't know that, now you do. Okay, so a powder that a mineral leaves is its streak. You should have went down and saw that pyrite leaves a green to black streak. So that was your answer. For number 2, it said a human fingernail has a hardness of 2.5. So we're just using the hardness on our table right here. A fingernail, 2.5. And it wants to know which 2 minerals are softer than a human fingernail. So looking at your table, you should have found the 2 minerals that had a number in the hardness column less than 2.5, and that was graphite and talc. If we look at it, graphite, 1 to 2, talc, 1 for its hardness. Those are both less than 2.5. Number 3, which home building material is made mostly from the mineral gypsum? A lot of people had trouble finding gypsum. It's called selenite gypsum right here. And there's a column here for uses. This is how the minerals are used in the real world. It says that gypsum is used for drywall. So your answer for number 3 should have been drywall panels. Number 4, which mineral has a metallic luster, a black streak, and is an ore of iron? So you need to use 3 different characteristics. And we're going to be doing this more today when we start identifying minerals. First, you should have seen the metallic lusters were at the top. So you had 4 choices, metallic luster. Next piece of information, had a black streak and is an ore of iron. So if we look, black streak, but not an ore of iron for graphite. Gray black streak, ore of lead, so it can't be galena. Black streak, ore of iron, magnetite was your answer. So you're just using the table and eliminating choices as you go. And then finally, fluorite, the mineral fluorite will scratch. You should have used the hardness column on your table. Fluorite, boom, right there. Hardness of 4. It wants to know what fluorite will scratch. So you should have looked for something that was less than 4. That, of course, was calcite, has a hardness of less than 4. Olivine, it would not scratch because it has a hardness higher than 4. On slide 5, you did the same thing. You used your table, but this time I gave you like info from the tables. On the first question, it said which 2 mineral samples would be most difficult to distinguish from each other based on their color, luster, and streak. You should have noticed that halite and quartz are almost identical, except their breakage pattern. Halite breaks into cubes, quartz breaks in irregular ways. So that was your answer, because they're almost the same characteristic-wise. For the last question, I wanted to know which statement was supported by the table, and I gave you the table here. Your answer should have been that a piece of glass can be scratched by quartz. If you looked here, glass had a hardness of 5.5. Quartz, its hardness was 7. So quartz would scratch glass, but calcite wouldn't because it has a hardness of 3. So there are your homework answers, guys. Resubmit it. Like this video because you're a positive person. And then you can close your Chromebook.